Welcome to Nashville, the big story in the Music City. Vince is back.
Well, it's time, and I think to his credit, Jeff Fisher, the head coach of the Titans, waited as long as he possibly could to make this decision, but at the urging of impatient ownership, Vince Young will get the start, and I'll tell you, Gus, they want to find out if he's going to be worth the $14.2 million he'll count against the cap in 2010, and for Vince, you know, he's played pretty well, 18-11 as a starter, but he's thrown 22 touchdowns, and he's rushed for 10 touchdowns, but he's thrown for 33 interceptions. If he can be a quality quarterback in the NFL, but if he's going to do it in Tennessee, he's got to do it now.
All right, Jacksonville, an improving team. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, and they have an emerging star in the backfield in the man they call Maurice Jones-Drew. Jack Del Rio in his 7th season, and his team coming off that 23-20 overtime win 2 weeks ago in St. Louis. They're coming off the bye week. Other sideline, different situation for Jeff Fisher. They were 13-3 last year, started 10-0. Now they're 0-6. They're also coming off the bye week, but prior to that, a 59-0 loss at New England. 30th overall meeting in the regular season between these two rivals in the AFC South. Titans lead the series 16-13, but Jacksonville won the first game this year, week 4, 37-17. David Garrard with a 300-yard game, and Michael Griffin is back deep. This one kicked out of the end zone by Josh Scobie, and Tennessee will have it at the 20-yard line. So here comes Vince Young. Young lost the starting role after last year's season opener against Jacksonville, in which he was booed after his 2nd interception of the game. He had to be coaxed back onto the field before the Titans' next possession, and 4 plays later, he suffered a mild knee injury. Now, Young under center as the starter for the first time this year. He hands it off to Chris Johnson over the right side. Johnson with a lot of running room, and he'll gain close to 10 yards on the play. Reggie Nelson with the tackle. Actually, it's a 9-yard gain. He has feline quickness. 2nd down and 1 to the 29. Johnson again, this time he runs left. Bottled up and taken down at the 31. Ellison with the tackle after breaking his finger. Young to throw for the first time. Dumps it off, and Johnson with the catch at the 32. And it's a 1-yard gain. Justin Durant with the tackle. So after losing that starting job, the following day, Young skipped a scheduled MRI, and after he was unaccounted for several hours, Metro Police were dispatched to find him. And in the aftermath of all that, Kerry Collins was elevated to the starting job. And now Collins sits. He has struggled mightily the last couple of games. Only 5 touchdowns this season to go along with 8 interceptions. Young to throw. And he finds his tight end. That's Bo Scaife. Scaife picks up the first down, and it's a gain of 10. Yeah, we had to set the tone.
That's right.
It's a big day. Here's Young giving it off to Johnson again, and he slices and dices and gets up to the 47. So what do you think about Vince's return?
You're exactly right, Gus. It's time to see not only has he learned how to play football a little better than he did when he left, it's also can he handle what it takes to be a starting quarterback. I mean, you come off the field, you're going to get booed. All the starters in the league get booed. You're going to have good days and bad days, but you have to learn to bounce back. And in talking to him on Friday, I think that's one of the things he's thought a lot about, how he's going to handle it when he gets booed. And we'll see today, probably.
2nd down and 6 at the 47. Handing it off to Johnson. And Johnson, look at the quick feet. Pops it outside. Johnson diving. And he picks up the first down. But getting back to Vince Young, he told us, I have been waiting for this. I am definitely more mature, definitely more comfortable in the offense, Young said. I am very confident. I just want to go out there and take my responsibilities as a quarterback and get a win. And I had a chance to catch up with him before the game in the tunnel, and he said, it's going to be just like the Rose Bowl.
If it is, they're off to a good start with him as their quarterback.
1st down and 10, Young pulling it down. He can run, and he does. Pointed, and gets out of bounds at the 40.
Well, that's what they'd like him to do, Gus, is run a little bit. And I think it's interesting. And I didn't mean when I said a moment ago that he's going to find out today what it's like to get booed. But Vince Young, I mean, it's one of those things. It's almost like politics here in Tennessee. You either love him or you hate him. And I think both fans are represented here today. I mean, they want to know what he's about. And there's going to be people who are going to look for every opportunity to boo him. And there's going to be every opportunity, I think, to cheer him as well. And I think it's up to Vince to earn the fans one way or the other.
Second down at 4 at the 41. 8th play of the drive that started at the 20. Lindale White is checked in at running back. Young to throw. Underneath. And that is his tight end, Jared Cook, rookie out of South Carolina. A 4-yard gain. Darrell Smith, Derek Harvey combining on the tackle. And I thought you made an excellent point. Vince Young, 18-11 as a starter. And he has a big financial nut at the end of this year for next year.
Yeah.
And they have to make a decision on it.
They really do. And there's no question in my mind Vince Young can be a good quarterback in this league. But here in Tennessee, he's got to do it now. He doesn't get another 2 years to try and learn the position.
Third down and 1 at the 38. Lindale White straight ahead. White's numbers have been down. Last year he had 15 rushing touchdowns, rushed for close to 800 yards. He comes into this game with 39 carries for 148.
Yeah, and I don't think that Lindale White's touches are down. I don't think that that's an indictment on his ability. I think it's a compliment to Chris Johnson and his emergence as really a premier back. Lindale White dropped a lot of weight in the offseason. He's still the complimentary back to Chris Johnson, but that's what he's become. It was, you know, thunder and lightning last year. Now it's Chris Johnson's show, and Lindale White is in as a backup.
But as we have seen throughout the NFL, you need 2 quality backs. Game by game. Young throwing it down the field. Drop. Wow, Derek Cox. Really impressive rookie out of William and Mary.
Yeah, that
had a surefire interception.
I'll tell you what, Vince Young, this is a guy, Cox, you gotta say that was great because, you know, Gage came out and gave him a nice pump fake going back to the line of scrimmage, and Cox wanted no part of it. He was watching Vince Young. It was a little bit of zone coverage. Cox had deep responsibility, so he was going to give up the underneath route. And even with the pump fake and the great route by Gage, he didn't bite.
Jaguars with 2 third-round picks starting. Vince Young running, and he finds some room, dives forward and gets to the 30-yard line. And when we talked to Jack Del Rio yesterday, he was very interesting. He said, we are concerned with Vince Young running the football, but he's not Michael Vick in terms of he doesn't have that breakaway speed, but he is nifty with his feet.
Yeah, he can make some first downs. And Jack Del Rio said, listen, there are going to be times when he makes a big play, but we're not going to start changing our mentality because he breaks loose and gets a first down with his legs. We expect it. We'll deal with it when it happens.
12th play of the drive that started at the Tennessee 20. Young again running. And you see a variation of the Wildcat there.
Yeah, and those last 2 plays were definitely quarterback runs. I mean, they were called for Vince Young to pull it down and run it. Now, that was an option, so he had a choice and took it himself. But the last 2 plays were called runs. You don't see a lot of teams in the NFL that have a quarterback that they can call that with, but I think you'll see that more and more with Vince Young. I think, though, I'll tell you what, on this first series, as it is in a field goal attempt, he threw the ball pretty well.
So Baronis in to attempt a 48-yard field goal. Needs this field goal to tie Tony Zendejas for second most in franchise history, 117. Good snap, clean hold, it's up. Wow. And good. 48 yards.
On the sidelines, Vince Young talking it over with offensive coordinator Mike Heimerdinger, and also Kerry Collins sticking his head in that meeting as well, talking over what they saw defensively. I spoke to Mike Heimerdinger during the week, and he said, yeah, I asked him what change. He says, yeah, there's significant changes in this offense from that guy number 5 sitting next to Vince Young and Vince Young. You have to change a lot of things in this offense, take a lot of things out and put a lot of things in.
Utilizing Young's ability to run the football. Mike Thomas is back deep. He brings it out of the end zone. Thomas with a lane. Thomas to the 40. Beautiful return. Welcome back. Jaguars with the football. 1st and 10 at the 40. David Garrard quickly out to Mike Sims-Walker with the reception. And he gains 5 yards on the play. Tackled by Michael Griffin. 300-yard game this season, and it was against these Tennessee Titans week 4. Short drop underneath Maurice Jones-Drew, who had lined up as a wide receiver. 9 catches, 120 yards last week against St. Louis. 3rd down and 5 at the 45. They need to get to midfield. Here's Garrard, steps up in the pocket. Garrard trying to get out of trouble, throws it, incomplete, and a flag. That'll be intentional grounding. He was not out of the tackle box, according to the official.
They might take this back. Jones-Drew was on the sideline over there. It'll be a judgment call by the official. He's getting help from his side judge and the field judge who are coming over to help him. This is Pete Morelli talking to his field judge and line judge.
Intentional grounding. Number 9, 10 yards. The ball will be placed at the spot of the pass and loss of down. 4th down.
Stephen Tulloch getting to David Garrard. The Titans looking for pressure on the quarterback. And Tulloch providing some pressure on that play, and that will force them to punt. Adam Podlish standing at the 18-yard line. Kevin Casefahan, former Cincinnati Bengal, at the 25, make it the 26. Line drive, Casefahan backpedaling, lets it go over his head, and now picks it up at the 2 and goes down. What a great special teams tackle. And that is Tyron Brackenridge. 2nd drive of the game, led him to a field goal on his first, hands it off to Johnson. And the Titans have seen a similar situation in the past.
But a nice drive by Vince Young.
Titans started 0-3 in 2006. Young replaced Collins, guided the team to an 8-8 finish, and was named NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. 2nd down and 9 at the 6. Throws that behind Gage. Derek Harvey may have gotten a hand on it as well.
Well, if he would have thrown that where Gage could have caught it, Derek Harvey might have picked it off and ran it in for a touchdown. He threw that well behind Gage, and Harvey on a zone blitz from the defensive end spot dropped right back into where Vince Young would have thrown it had it been on target. He throws this, and Harvey's right there. You see there, if he'd have thrown it to Gage, Harvey would have caught it right in his stomach.
3rd down and 9 at the 6. They need to go to the 15 for 1st down. Young in the shotgun. Draw play, Johnson. Johnson turns the corner and almost got down the sideline. He is close to a 1st down.
I think they gave him the spot, Gus. That really was a nice job. He's going to come up inside, and when he comes up inside, he's going to get, and the defense will come in to gravitate towards him, and as he bounces out, his speed takes over and just outruns him to the corner. And that's the thing about Chris Johnson. He has such great speed. If you take a wrong step, the next step you take is getting an angle down the sideline, because he'll outrun you to the sideline.
Chris Johnson, breathtaking runner, has the ability to break one every time he touches the ball. The pitch, Johnson still on his feet, dives forward.
It really is. He changes the game in a heartbeat, and he's really been the bright spot in a 0-6 start. I think they need to use him more in the running game, Gus. I think when you have an average that large, use it until it drops down.
Young dumps it off, and it's Scaife. Scaife stopped by Darrell Smith. No gain on the play. And speaking of Chris Johnson, last week, well, 2 weeks ago against New England, although they got blown out 59-zip, he had 17 carries for 128 yards against the Patriots. He had a run of 31 yards, a run of 48 yards. And we were here week 2 against Houston, and that was one of the best games I've seen in a long time.
They were handing out free touchdowns that day, man, to both teams. It was something else.
3rd down and 7 at the 18-yard line. Another improving team. Houston winning on the road at Buffalo this week. It's Young underneath. Caught Gage. And Gage gets up to the 30. 1st down, gain of 12.
That was a nice route
with the tackle.
That was a nice route and a nice read by Young. Watch, he comes out, looks straight down the field, then comes back, throws it right underneath to Gage. Exactly the kind of completion a quarterback needs to get some confidence. Throws it in the middle of the defense with defenders all around. He threads the needle a little bit and gives his receiver, hits him on the run with a chance to turn it upfield for the first down. And, you know, this is the kind of drive, these first two possessions of the Titans, that can really give a young guy confidence, not only him, but also the offense around him.
Tennessee.
And Tennessee calls a timeout. Welcome back. First down and 10 at the 30-yard line for Vince Young and the Titans. Young to throw it underneath. Another catch. All the way up. A fumble on the play. Jaguars say they have it.
No, I don't think so. That was down. It was down. Gage was moving. Now we got to fight.
And talk about a rivalry.
I'll tell you what, Gus, you see more fights in division games than you'll see all year in other types of games, in games out of division.
Ruling on the field of forward progress. So there is no fumble.
Yeah, that's the right call, too, I believe. Now there's some other flags. They got to sort out the personal fouls that will probably offset, and it'll be a big waste of time. That used to bother me, Gus, when I get into a scuffle. I'd get beat up,
fouls
and
on
it
both
wouldn't
teams.
count.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness of the defense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the offense. The penalties will offset. Result of the play is a first down.
That used to bum me out. If there's a fight, make them both pay for it. And you see this, Gage, nice little hitch and go. Gets up the field, and see us down, and then they comes back. Yeah, that's a good no call. That's no fumble there.
Gage has struggled last couple of games, only 3 catches, 22 yards. Nice to see Vince Young go to him early. The handoff, Johnson. Oh, Johnson stood up and driven down. Terrific looking tackle by Derek Harvey, their second-year man out of the University of Florida, 2008 first-round pick, a loss of 2.
Yeah, Derek Harvey's a number 8 pick out of Florida, and he's one of those guys. He's a defensive end, doesn't have any sacks, but you know what? Jack Del Rio really likes the way he's playing. So does defensive coordinator Mel Tucker. I mean, they really like the way he's playing, and he's one of those guys doesn't put up a lot of stats, but he's doing a lot of great things for Jacksonville.
11 quarterback pressures, number 1 on the Jaguars. Second down and 11 at the 43. Young, straight drop now. Dumps it off again, and it's Scaife, who's dumped by Darryl Smith. A loss of 1. And talking about Jacksonville, you know, they have a very good record, or a good record, but one thing about this defense under Jack Del Rio, right now, they're not sacking the quarterback. Only 5 sacks this season, and that's last in the league in sacks.
Yeah, and they're 30th overall in pass defense. Jack Del Rio said we've got to do better in pass defense. We've got to do better on third down, and I think, Gus, both of those things will go hand in hand. You can see their time of possession. Vince Young playing ball possession here against this defense.
But he's faced with a 3rd and 12. Steps up in the pocket, and he runs it. But won't have enough, gets to midfield. On 3rd and 12, he gains 8, and that will force the Titans to punt. Justin Durant, the middle linebacker, with the tackle.
Yeah, a lot's been made of these umpires getting up in the way, and right there, gets caught like he doesn't know where to go. That's Rich Hall, the umpire, and he's like, you can see there, he's like, he doesn't know where to go, right, left, and Vince Young has to decide, and sometimes you just want to run that guy over. It's the quickest way to the next point.
Brett Kern, picked up off waivers from Denver this week, is your punter for Tennessee. That one skipped to him, but he picks it up and drills it into the end zone. Pro Bowler Cortland Finnegan returns this week. He's been plagued by a hamstring injury since September 27th in their game against the Jets. Underneath, the ball caught, and it's Mike Sims-Walker picking up 4 yards on the play. Rod Hood starting today at left corner for Nick Harper, who has a broken forearm. Makes the tackle. And when you look at this Tennessee secondary, 3 of the 4 went to the Pro Bowl last year. Finnegan, Chris Hope, Michael Griffin. The safeties haven't been playing very well. They've been gambling a little too much. Second down and 6 at the 24. Garrard in trouble. Fumble. Loose. Garrard And Garrard somehow manages to jump on the football. And he has had problems fumbling the football the last few games. That's the end of the first quarter. David Garrard catches a break. Garrard has lost 4 fumbles in the Jaguars' first 6 games. Third down and 22 at the 8, a loss of 16 on that last play. Garrard in the shotgun now. Here's Garrard. Flag on the play, dumps it off to Maurice Jones-Drew. He breaks the tackle and goes down at the 21.
Yeah, this is going to be a hold on Jacksonville's offensive line. I think Tennessee will decline that and make Jacksonville punt it away.
Michael Griffin with the tackle.
There are fouls by both teams. Holding, number 67, offense. Illegal contact, number 24 of the defense. Penalties will offset. Repeat, third down.
That's Chris Hope for Tennessee and Vince Manawai, the left guard for Jacksonville. Let's take another look at the strip.
Yeah, that's a great blitz. David Thornton comes in, gets a hand on the ball just before Garrard can tuck it away, and then Garrard hustles back alertly and gets it back. And look at Jeff Fisher, he knows.
Third down and 22 at the 8-yard line. They need to go to the 30 for a first down. Garrard in the shotgun. Garrard to the sideline. Torrey Holt goes up high, makes the grab, and the future Hall of Famer goes down at the 15, stopped by Rod Hood.
Side, number 91 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's Jason Jones.
Jason Jones lined up in the neutral zone.
They're really impressed with Jason, second-year player out of Eastern Michigan.
Right here. You see there, he was just lined up so tight, he just got off with the ball. And a lot of times those guys go in there, Gus, and they watch the forearm of the center. And when it flexes to snap it, they kind of get a jump on it. That time he was lined up so close, he got the jump. He was offsides.
Third down at 17 at the 13. And a timeout has been called, a late timeout called by Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That's their second timeout call.
Timeout.
And welcome back. Tennessee with a 3-0 lead. David Garrard and the Jags faced with a third down at 17 at the 13. Garrard throws it up the sideline, incomplete. Torrey Holt, the intended receiver, and that will force Jacksonville to send the football away.
It was a good defensive stand by Tennessee. A lot of penalties on both sides of the football, but it all was keyed by that fumble by David Garrard. He had to run back and cover it up. If they'd have picked that up, it would have gone for naught, but Garrard has had some troubles with fumbles this season and in his career trying to get that straightened out.
Adam Podler stands at his own goal line. Case Fahard back at the 40. High wobbler. Case Fahard comes up, fields it at the 44, looking for a seam, and he gets dropped at the 46-yard line. For more coverage this season. First down and 10 at the 46-yard line. Play fake. Young steps out of trouble, throws to the sideline. Put that one on a line. Nate Washington down the sideline. First down, Tennessee. Vince Young showing that he's still got some pop in that right arm. Clint Ingram pushes him out of bounds.
Had sensational protection by his offensive line. Plenty of time. Washington's the last guy he came back to late, and he kept working, got his route open. You see there, Young throws this out there. What a great job by the offensive line and Vince Young.
16-yard pickup, first down at the 38. Lendale White breaks it back, and White.
You think there, Tennessee Titans, you see there, they've only been shut out once in the first 191 games, and now he got shut out twice in this season, really, or this season in the last part of last year. They've struggled offensively, Gus, and a lot of people put it on Kerry Collins. I don't.
Second down at 7. Young sets up the screen. Skate with a blocker. Skate looking for a seam. Big Bo rumbling down to the 15-yard line. That's an 18-yard gain. Reggie Nelson got his ankle, and that brought him down.
Well, we said it earlier, Gus, if Vince Young could pick a team that he was going to come back and break back in with, I think it would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. He got a little chip on his shoulder because they're the guys who put him out of the game last year in the opening game. Plus, they're 31st in the league against the pass. It's a pretty easy day for a quarterback when you got the kind of time Vince does, and you got guys running open down the field.
4 catches for Scape already. Here's Lindale White trying to turn the corner. White ridden down. Darrell Smith. It's a 4-yard gain, but you have to be impressed, Steve, with the way Vince Young has commanded the huddle, led his team up and down the field. He's dumped it off, he's run the football, and he's taken some shots.
You know, a lot is made about quarterback changes in the NFL, and that's the reason, Gus. Everything looks completely different here in Tennessee. There's 10 guys on the field that are exactly the same. You changed one guy, and everything changes.
Tennessee with only 10 red zone possessions, 6 touchdowns, 3 field goals this year. 2nd down and 6 at the 13. Lindale White runs into Young. And White inside the 10-yard line. That's a gain of 3. Clint Ingram, first man to it.
You know, we said in the open as you watch Vince Young, had a little trouble with his handoff to Lindale White. They ran into each other. But, you know, this is a defense also in Jacksonville, as you mentioned, Gus. They've only got 5 interceptions on the year. And that's one of the things that Jeff Fisher would love Vince Young to work on. Just stay away from the picks. If he can stay away from the interceptions, he can run and throw for a lot of touchdowns.
Jeff Fisher saying he believes that Young's experience over this time has helped him to deal with anything that can happen on the football field. He's faced with a 3rd down and 3 now. Rolls out of the pocket. Cuts it back, looking for the first down. Young hits the sideline, and he's got it. Vince Young popping his collar now, folks. He's got his swag.
And this is, Gus, this is just a punch in the stomach. They've got it covered, but you got it covered with John Henderson trying to tackle Vince Young in space. It's not going to happen. John Henderson's a great guy against the run, but not when there's nobody around. That's an impossible job. You got a guy out there on defense. You can't ask for more than just one guy out there to defend it.
So Vince, 1st down and goal at the 6-yard line. And the Jaguars call a timeout. Welcome back. 1st down and goal to the 6-yard line for Tennessee. Johnson spinning, and Johnson goes down.
And there's a good run by Johnson, but the Jacksonville defense had it really snapped off at the point of attack.
And Vince saying that I'm definitely more mature and especially more comfortable in the offense now. I'm going to go out, take my time. It's not going to be easy. I'm 6 games off, and I've not played in any games. I just want to go out and not be antsy. 2nd down and goal at the 6. Young throws the fade. Touchdown! Nate Washington. I guess he's nice and relaxed. Vince Young putting it on the money. And the Titans have a chance to take a 10-0 lead.
He threw it right in there. Watch here. And it's just right up the side. Working right there against Nelson. Just, you can't throw it better. Washington's right in the right spot. Just gets the half step on Nelson, and it's right there. What a great, great play.
Rob Barones comes in. And the extra point is good. How about Vince Young? He's 10 for 12, 80 yards, a touchdown. Tennessee Titans' first touchdown in the last 9 quarters. Vince Young, very nice touch pass to Nate Washington, and we have a 10-0 game.
Those touch passes to the corner, because they look so easy when you get them completed, but they are really difficult to complete.
Barones sends it away. Mike Thomas back deep. Thomas from the 1. And Thomas, another great run, crossing the 40. And he gets it up to the 43-yard line.
He's got to feel so good. And at this point, I tell you what, Gus, I know he just wants to get back on the field.
1st down and 10 at the 43. Different story for Jacksonville. Play fake. Garrard looking, fires the bomb for Torrey Holt, incomplete. And how about this Jacksonville team? Steve, they haven't had very many opportunities.
No, they haven't. They've only had 7 offensive plays, including the one you just saw. They've all been passes, and Maurice Jones-Drew has had no touches, and Finnegan back in the lineup. Both those guys, Gus, nobody has more experience and more savvy as a wide receiver than Torrey Holt, and Finnegan is a Pro Bowler. That's 2 great ones going against it.
Second down and 10 at the 43. Maurice Jones-Drew, the single setback. They run the reverse. Mike Thomas. And Mike Thomas, the rookie out of Arizona, gained 7 yards on the play. Thomas, 4th-round pick. Pac-10's all-time leader in receiving yards.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Gus, David Garrard came out, and that's the first running play they've had. As we take a timeout here at the official, Mike Thomas is going to have to be helped off. David Garrard said, he struggled a couple of weeks ago and 2 games ago in a game, and really struggled in the thumping they took in Seattle. And Garrard said, the next game they played in St. Louis, Garrard came out, took the first series, went down and scored, and really the whole team was able to forget about the thumping they took in Seattle. And now you look at the Tennessee Titans starting 0-6, got beat 59-zip 2 weeks ago. Vince Young comes out, plays well, and the entire team takes their cue from him. The way your quarterback plays does everything for your team.
Jaguars have converted 20 of 27 third downs of 3 yards or less. They're faced with a 3rd and 3. Garrard underneath, picked off. Hood. Tennessee's in business. A 16-yard return for Ron Hood.
I'm telling you, the way Vince Young plays offensively, now that defense comes out, and they've got a little pep. They have not been able to get turnovers. They're -11 on the season as a team, and now all of a sudden you get a fresh change of quarterback, and the defense steps up huge. David Garrard coming out, tries to lead it, throws a good pass, but right there, Torrey Holt gets nicked off by that umpire again and can't get to the football. He can't even break it up.
Only the 4th interception of the year for Garrard. And Hood is a player that was signed a couple of weeks ago. He's starting today because of the broken forearm to Nick Harper. Chris Johnson with a seam. Chris Johnson. See you later. Touchdown. Oh, they say he stepped out of bounds. He almost broke it.
He sure did. And you can see there, Gus, I mean, this is a different Tennessee Titan team. Chris Johnson comes out. He's been a bright spot all year, but now coming out, and you see there, he did step out on the 13-yard line, and the officials caught it. But that's what he gives you, and that's what a quarterback who's efficient can give you too. All of a sudden, Vince Young completes some passes, and Chris Johnson's got all kinds of running room.
First down and 10 at the 13-yard line. They give it out to Johnson. He breaks it back, and Johnson finally ridden down inside the 10, John Henderson.
When you think back, this drive started because of the interception, and we said it before. It's been a big story in the NFL this week, Gus, about umpires, the officials who stand behind the offensive line of scrimmage. And this time, Torrey Holt, trying to catch a pass from David Garrard, bumps into the umpire right there. And like I said, that's Rich Hall. He's got to stand there. It's his job. And he's part of the field. But in this case, it led to an interception.
Second down at 6 at the 9. Algie Crumpler, the tight end, in motion. It's a miscommunication. Vince Young runs it, and he is gobbled up.
Yeah, that's a busted
play.
play.
Quentin Groves with the tackle. That's a loss of 5.
And that's just a busted play. And I don't know if that's Vince Young's fault. You see here, he comes back to hand it off, and bang. Right there, he gets hit by Hall, and then he just tucks it and goes. I mean, you got to get what you can get. There's nothing that's going to happen then. And that's really the first miscue we've seen. We've seen him bump into the backfield earlier on a handoff to Lindale White. It happened again right there.
Third down and 11 at the 14. They can get a first down, getting to the 3-yard line. Vince Young in the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Young, quarterback draw. Young looking outside, and he will not get it. Nice defense that time. Derek Cox.
Yeah, and this is a called play. He's going to come right up. Great block by Chris Johnson pushing it, but Cox does a nice job, and that's how you got to do it, Gus. Cox comes up, instead of running towards him and diving at his legs, he breaks down, makes Vince Young decide where he's going to go, and then uses his speed to push him out of bounds.
So Rob Barones comes in to attempt a 25-yarder, good from 48 already. Barones. The ball will be placed at the 15. Kern, the holder. Good hold. Up and good. (13-0), Tennessee and Jacksonville. Very big game, Steve. This is a division game, and both teams talked about the importance of winning.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Tennessee Titans, you know, they're almost dead and gone as far as the playoffs goes, but they've got a lot of things they've got to fight for. They've got jobs to fight for. They've got, you know, their own pride. They've got a lot of games left, and you don't want to lay down and just take this season off. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're in the midst of the playoff hunt in the AFC. Anytime you're above 500 this early in the league, in the game, you feel like you've got a shot at the tournament at the end of the season.
Kansas City coming in town next week. Mike Thomas will not bring this one out of the end zone, takes a knee, and Jacksonville will start from the 20. Albert Haynesworth, his contract was up. He wanted big money. They didn't give it to him. He left to go to Washington. And if you talk to players on the other teams, they'll tell you that they miss Albert Haynesworth. Maurice Jones-Drew breaking it back. And Maurice Jones-Drew down the sideline. Can they catch him? Maurice Jones-Drew, touchdown Jacksonville. And the Jags are right back in it as the little dynamo goes 80 yards on his first carry of the day. Wow.
And all that stuff I said about their defense, Gus, one other thing that didn't show up on that statistical analysis, bad tackling. Maurice Jones-Drew ran through the whole defense, and you'll see here, it's the pitch. He cuts it up inside. One missed tackle there by Finnegan, then another missed tackle there, and another missed tackle. And then at the end of it, right there, Donnie Nicky can't get him down either. He cuts back inside. I mean, nobody can grab this guy.
I think they should give him the ball. Maurice Jones-Drew just moved past 3,000 career yards. Maurice Jones-Drew, he's so small you can't see him, and that's what defenders always say. He's behind Monroe and Forney there.
And I'll tell you what, too, he proved a lot of people wrong in the NFL. He wears 32 because 32 teams passed on him in the draft because he was short. But I'll tell you what, that guy can play, and he's proven it, and he proves it every week. He is a great football player who has really set a trend in the National Football League.
133 yards rushing 2 weeks ago against St. Louis, 3 touchdowns. Ties Fred Taylor for the longest touchdown rush in Jacksonville Jaguars history. This one, a short kick fielded and up to the 30-yard line, a 4-yard gain.
And now other guys can do the same.
Frank Gore with the San Francisco 49ers, another one of those players. Young underneath Algie Crumpler with the catch at the 35. It's a 7-yard gain. Stopped on the play by Colin Allred.
And it's funny that we have the task force that about short guys, and I do have a chip on my shoulder.
Yes, you are. Yes, you do. You know, this is personal.
It's true.
For you.
Well, you live your life in a world of giants, as these guys do, and you make your way. And it's really says a lot about their ability and the vision of franchise that give them a chance to play.
Second down and 3 at the 36. Chris Johnson. And Johnson, he's not a very big back, only 5'11", 200 pounds, but he's lightning in a bottle.
Well, that's the thing. These guys can all run.
And talking to Maurice Jones-Drew yesterday was very, very interesting. He said during the bye week he had a chance to go down to Atlanta. His sister goes to Clark, Atlanta, and they were playing Morehouse for homecoming, and he had a chance to just sit there and be a fan. And he really enjoyed himself.
He was chanting in the stands for players and stuff. That's great.
Third down and 2 at the 37. Young again, and not a lot of room. He gets up to the line of scrimmage. Ellison with the tackle. First contact.
You know, you talk about Maurice Jones-Drew, what a fun guy he is, and it's the same. And Vince Young's doing the right thing. Tried to get rid of that ball quick. It wasn't there. Pull it down, get what you can, and live to fight another day. But now, with David Garrard getting a little hotter in that offense after that big play, Titans have to give it right back to him. And this is something I think the Titans need to work on. Ball control and staying on the field in third down.
Kern from the 24, and he nailed this one. Directional punting. Out of bounds. Let's see where this one will be spotted. And it's at the 6-yard line. Nicely done for a guy that just got picked up off waivers. That's a 56-yard punt.
If I'm a betting man, I think that guy's going to get the ball again.
They should give it to him. 3:40 to go. First down and 10 at the 7. Sims Walker, the motion man. Maurice Jones-Drew lowers his shoulder. And he gets to the 10-yard line. That's a 3-yard gain. Kyle Vanden Bosch with the tackle.
How fun was it to talk to Maurice Jones-Drew yesterday?
Man, what a guy.
I mean, he's got his own fantasy team, and he's playing for bragging rights. And he said, and we asked him, did you draft yourself? He said, I couldn't because the guys drafted ahead of me. They knew I would do anything to trade for myself. So he had to trade for himself.
And he got himself. Second down and 7 at the 10. And Maurice Jones-Drew straight ahead. He's averaging 4.3 yards per carry on the season. Keith Bullock with the tackle after a 2-yard gain.
You know, they say...
It's funny because he told us that he had Matt Schaub as his quarterback.
Yeah, and Matt Schaub playing well up in Buffalo today. But look at this. I mean, just running right up in there. He's a great running back. I mean, he's so powerful, so compact. It's hard for guys to find a spot to hit him. He's all helmet and elbows.
Third down and 4. At the 13-yard line. Sims Walker lines up as a receiver at the top of your screen. Holt is at the bottom. Garrard, he can run as well. Lets it go, and it is caught. Nice throw. Ernest Wilford, who's been moved to tight end, gains 13 yards on the play and a first down.
There's a flag late, it looks like. Wilford, you're right, Gus, was drafted as a wide receiver, want to get one of those big, huge physical wide receivers, and Wilford taking the cue, moving down inside to the tight end spot, doing very well. Pete Morelli sorting things out.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct taunting number 85 of the defense. Since the first down was made after the half the distance penalty, it will be 1st and 10, Jacksonville.
So it's half the distance from the original line of scrimmage, which was the 13. This is taunting. Finnegan knocks him over. No taunting yet.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I don't know.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
No, that's not good.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
I don't agree with that call
terrible.
either. Yeah, that's terrible.
Come on. Jacksonville starting to find a groove. Last 4 plays, they've covered 99 yards, including a touchdown. First down and 10 at the 13. 2 minutes to play in the first half. David Garrard, draw play to Maurice Jones-Drew. Breaks 1 tackle. And the bowling ball goes forward and gets to the 21. 7-yard gain. Tony Brown with the tackle. And it was interesting talking to Maurice Jones-Drew, and he talked about his weightlifting and using his hips to run over tacklers like a defender would use to make tackles, and the clean and pull are very important exercise for him. Torrey Holt with the grab. And you used to do the clean and pull when you played.
Yeah, I mean, it's a powerlifting move. You do it when you're young. You don't do it when you're old. But yeah, I mean, the strength that he has is really one of his best assets. And he said, you know, you can make fun, you can say anything you want about my 40 time. I can work on my speed, my strength. I can lift weights and get stronger. But being short is not my fault. Everything else, he's top notch. He's off the charts. His desire, his ability, his commitment. The only thing that he is not is tall.
Rashard Jennings has checked in now. Third down and 2. And this is Mike Thomas fighting for the first down.
Yeah, Cortland Finnegan's not happy about it, but Jacksonville did this a lot to the Titans in their first meeting a month ago.
Here's Garrard. He decides to run it. David Garrard gets out of bounds at the 25. Second quarter, 13-7. Jack Del Rio remaining patient in his 7th season as the head coach. He's done a fine job. They've won 3 of their last 4. They have a 500 or better record after 6 games. 6 consecutive years under Coach D. Second down, Garrard looking over the middle. Throws a perfect ball. Torrey Holt with the catch at the 40-yard line. And it's a gain of 16.
And this is a great route by Torrey Holt and a great catch in traffic. Chris Hope bearing down on him.
Torrey Holt needs 2 catches for 900 in his career. First down and 10 at the 41. Garrard hit as he throws it incomplete. Rod Hood tried to get under it. A lot of pressure being applied to Garrard.
And that's why this ball was incomplete. Garrard throws this, kind of has to hop into it and throw it over the top. And Jacob Ford coming in, putting the hit right in his face. That's why that ball sailed on him. He just couldn't step into it and get his hand over the top of it.
Tennessee with only 10 sacks on the season. Second down and 10 at the 41. Garrard incomplete. That ball intended for Mercedes Lewis.
This is going to be offsides against Tennessee. Once again,
offside. Number 97 defense. 5-yard penalty still. Second down.
That's Tony Brown.
Yeah, and this is another time, and I think they're getting at some sort of catch on either Garrard's count or the center is giving them some kind of problem. Brad Meester might be doing something a little bit funky with the snap because those guys watch the ball. They don't listen, they watch.
Second down and 5 at the 46. Garrard out of the gun. Garrard has it deflected at the line of scrimmage. Jason Jones got a paw on the football. And that'll bring up third down and 5.
Great protection, and Garrard steps right up into it. Vanden Bosch working a game at the bottom. Right there, and he just steps in and, oh, right in. Jones had his hand right there. He throws it right into his arm, and that's when that thing's bouncing around, man, that's big problems for a quarterback.
Third down and 5 at the 46. Jaguars are 1 of 5 on third down conversions. Garrard directing traffic. Garrard steps up in the pocket, and he's sacked. Kyle Vanden Bosch, first sack of the season. And talking about a monkey off your back, 6th all time with this franchise in sacks. Welcome back. Jacksonville will punt it away. Kevin Casefaharn stands inside his own 10. Podlish short. Casefaharn from the 20. And Casefaharn, a sure-handed punt returner, gets to the 25. A 34-yard punt and a 5-yard return.
Jeff Fisher just used his last time out to stop the clock before that punt. Now Vince Young's got a chance, but this is the sack. You'll see right there. Vanden Bosch, Jones, everybody stepping right up in there, and Vanden Bosch just catches it as Garrard tries to step through it and get up the field. Just can't do it. And that gives Tennessee one chance with Vince Young and the offense to come in, throw the football down the field, maybe get in field goal position, but they don't have a timeout left.
So let's see Young face with a first down at his own 26. Here's a handoff, Johnson. And Johnson dives forward.
And that's the half. You're hoping for something, maybe to get a blocked punt on the last one, but that's going to do it for the half. Good half.
Jack Del Rio watches Vince Young trot into the locker room. A very good first half. Welcome back to Nashville with the Tennessee Titans. leading the Jacksonville Jaguars 13-7. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker with you. And Steve, great first half.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you look at it, the guy's 11 for 13 with a touchdown, only 87 yards, but he's hit 6 different receivers, spreading the football around, done some things with his legs, and has really played ball control. They've got a great time of possession advantage. I think you really got to give him a nod. He came in ready to play today, and it shows.
Young looking very confident as he leads this team.
Absolutely, and you look the other side. David Garrard's only 6 for 13 for 42 yards, and he's got the interception. So Vince Young looking a little bit more polished and poised here today, and I think even his critics would have given him credit for doing. I mean, even though his numbers are acceptable and good, not very many yards, I think not very many people expected him to be 11 of 13. I think that's a real surprise and a huge advantage for Tennessee.
Look at the time of possession, 22 minutes for Tennessee. Less than 8 for the Jaguars, but the Jags will get the football back to start.
And I think the thing that looks there, Gus, on those statistics, first downs, 12 first downs for Tennessee. That's enormous in a game like this.
And a reminder, this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. 13-7, very entertaining first half for both these teams. Maurice Jones-Drew breaking the huge run, 80 yards for a touchdown. Vince Young, nice fade pattern, and Nate Washington in the corner of the end zone. And the second half is underway. Mike Thomas from the 5. And Mike Thomas pulled down at the 20-yard line. That's a 15-yard return. Ryan Mouton with the tackle on special teams. So here comes Mojo. Maurice Jones-Drew, 133 yards 2 weeks ago against St. Louis. He's already rushed for 93 yards on only 4 carries in this game.
And this Tennessee defense going against them, I mean, they're really stepping up today. In the weeks past, up to this today, they've allowed quarterbacks to complete almost 74% of their passes. David Garrard is less than 50%.
First down at the 21. And Maurice Jones-Drew breaking tackles again. Look at this kid. Unbelievable. He needs one block. Garrard in front. Garrard blocking. Maurice Jones-Drew, touchdown Jacksonville. What a play. 79 yards. And there's an injured Titan all the way back at the 25. And I believe it's Stephen Tulloch, but Maurice Jones-Drew, another electric run.
And right here, Kyle Vandenbosch has got a grip on him, and he gets loose from the tackles down inside, and then he breaks loose, and it turns into a foot race. And you called it, Gus. Vandenbosch tried to get the ball out, can't wrench it away from the iron grip. We said he was strong. Maurice Jones-Drew shrugs off Kyle Vandenbosch, and look at David Garrard out in front, escorting him into the end zone. Man, you got to follow a quarterback like David Garrard in more ways than one. That guy is a spiritual leader, an emotional leader of this team, and on that play, he led Maurice Jones-Drew all the way into the end zone. You want to talk about leadership, David Garrard in a big way.
That run was 79 yards. His first touch of the day was an 80-yard run for a touchdown. Maurice Jones-Drew came into the day tied for the lead in rushing touchdowns with Adrian Peterson of the Minnesota Vikings with 8. He now has 2 in this game. 5 carries, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and coming into the game, Maurice Jones-Drew, he led the team in rushing attempts with 108. Had led the team in rushing yards, led the team in touchdowns. He led the team in yards from scrimmage. And he had 33 carries 2 weeks ago in St. Louis. I mean, when you give him the ball, good things happen. I mean, it's good enough to have a play where a guy goes in, makes a physical run up inside. But when he breaks the tackle of a D lineman, shrugs off a hit of another D lineman, and then outruns everybody to the end zone, there's just not that many guys that can do that.
And David Garrard, how about your leader? First man down the field to help usher Maurice Jones-Drew into the end zone. And after a slow first half, Jacksonville with a chance to take the lead right here. And it's blocked! Loose! Picked up! And you cannot advance it.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Maurice Jones-Drew averaging 34 yards per carry. Breaks off another big one, and we have a tie score at 13.
And Gus, the guy's a star. He's got great personality. His teammates rally around him. He keeps things loose on the locker room and on the practice field. And he makes great plays.
Michael Griffin from the goal line. And he dives forward and gets to the 26, 25-yard return. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
Well, you look here, watch the missed tackles that happen before he clears the line of scrimmage. Kyle Vanden Bosch comes in right there. There's one. As it moves forward, then he gets another shot right there. Then a third one, and then, of course, two more guys come in, dive late, 4 and 5, and then it's just a foot race as he weaves in and out of open traffic. And then, of course, his buddy David Garrard catching up with him and escorting him all the way in.
10th rushing touchdown of the season. He has 2 today, and we're tied at 13 now. The Jaguar defense. John Henderson with some pressure. Loss of 1. And look at the last 6 possessions.
Look at these TD drives, 1 play. A little bit of efficiency there. Then they had, and look at this though, they had 3 and outs as well. 3 and outs on 3 separate occasions on the first 3 possessions.
Second down and 11 at the 25. Algie Crumpler lines up as a fullback. It's Young. Finds Crumpler out of the backfield. Nice footwork by the 4-time Pro Bowler. He picks up 7 yards. Darrell Smith with the tackle. Algie Crumpler, the all-time leader in receptions for a tight end with Atlanta, 316.
Yeah, that's just, and you know, it almost, after a play like that, Gus, we're sitting up here, and you almost forget how well Vince Young and the offense of the Titans has played. They had great ball control, but a play like that the Jaguars just made swings momentum all the way over to their side. Now Vince Young's got to keep it going.
Young out of the gun with all day. Breaks contain. Cuts it inside. Dives forward and gets a first down. A 4-yard gain on 3rd and 4. Julius Williams with the tackle.
And this is exactly what they want him to do. Take a look downfield. If it's not there immediately, tuck it and then just run. And Vince Young runs well enough to get the first down on a busted up pass play, lunging forward for it. And that's exactly what he needs to do. Just keep this offense on the field and give him a chance to move the chains. Good things will happen eventually.
Young, 9 carries, 31 yards. First down and 10 at the 37. Lindale White in the game. Play fake. Young rolling out of the pocket, double move, and Young wanted to throw it. Good defense. Nate Washington was running down the sideline.
We have another half to play, and he's got to play equally as well in this half to win this football game.
Second down and 9 to the 38. Algie Crumpler goes in motion. Here comes a blitz. Chris Johnson, and he crosses the 40 up to the 41, a gain of 3. And that is John Henderson making the tackle. Big John. Remember John Henderson? Early in his career, he used to take a slap in the face before the game.
That's right.
But he started getting concussions, and he had to stop.
That's right.
He says, I don't do that anymore.
Don't do that. Well, he's grown older and wiser. But I'll tell you what, he's still a great football player and a difference maker down inside. The Jacksonville Jaguars going to that 4-3 defensive alignment. They started out thinking maybe they'd switch back and forth. Now almost exclusively 4-3-4 defense.
3rd and 6 to 41. It's Young in trouble. Reverses, throws on the run. Oh, he threw a dart. First down. Athlete, folks. You can't teach that. Kenny Britt with the catch.
Gus, you can't teach this. You can't even coach it. Vince Young just doing it. He flicks this off his back foot, and that's a long throw outside to the sideline, right on the hash marks out there. And a great, great catch by Britt. Just dragging his foot in. Nice play.
First down and 10. Johnson gets his shoulder square. Watch out! He's got getting away from the cop speed. Touchdown! 52 yards.
He got a great block out front by Ahmad Hall on the edge. When he turned it up inside, there was nobody there. Hall gets the outside linebacker down, and it's off to the races. And just like we saw Maurice Jones-Drew get away, Chris Johnson does the same thing.
Chris Johnson, 16 carries, 118 yards, and a touchdown. Extra point is up. And good. And welcome back. The running back comparison, Maurice Jones-Drew with 172 rushing yards. Chris Johnson, 118.
Yeah, and the two happiest people in the building are David Garrard and Vince Young.
Baronis to send it away. Mike Thomas. And this one out of bounds. Not a very good job by Baronis.
They called
it inside.
Oh.
You're right.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, Tennessee caught a break right there. I thought it went outside the pylon, and the official called it a touchback. If that goes to the outside of the pylon and bounces out of bounds, it comes out to the 40-yard line. This one, he says, goes inside the pylon, and it comes out to the 20. Bad break for Jacksonville. Great break.
What's the rule, Steve, if it goes over the pylon?
That is the over the pylon means it's a touchback.
Looked like it went over the pylon, and now
that's a challenge.
It will be challenged.
And that's pretty good. I mean, if you've got the angle, that's a field position, and I agree with Jack Del Rio. He thinks that ball went outside the pylon. If it did, it's 20 yards of field position. He gets back.
Jacksonville is challenging the ruling on the field.
Welcome back. Jack Del Rio has challenged the ruling on the field.
And I think he's going to win it, because if you see this ball bounce down, if it bounces outside that pylon, watch this.
The previous play is not reviewable by rule. The ball will be placed at the 20-yard line.
Well, there you go. Now that the official remembers that he can't review that, but I'll tell you what, they missed it. Jack Del Rio was right to challenge it, or at least bring it to their attention. They missed that play. That ball was out of bounds outside the pylon, and should have been.
The previous play is not reviewable. The ruling on the field will stand. The ball will be placed and stand at the 20-yard line.
And it should be at the 40-yard line. That's a huge miss that Jacksonville is just going to have to live with. Jack Del Rio was right to challenge that. It was a missed call, but it's not reviewable, and that's a problem. Baronis and the Tennessee Titans get a huge break, a 20-yard break, and I think it's worth, if it could be reviewable, I think Jack Del Rio did the right thing in risking a timeout, even if it was closer than the obvious miss that we saw.
First down and 10 at the 20-yard line for Jacksonville. David Garrard under center out of the I formation. And it's Maurice Jones-Drew. And this time he's hit hard as Griffin and Vanden Bosch come up and combine on the tackle. A 3-yard gain.
A 3-yard gain is a rest for Jones-Drew, and there are two guys that made sure they didn't miss the tackle on that.
Mojo limping a little bit, trying to.
And we'll see if he walks it off.
Walk it off. Second down and 6 at the 24. Greg Jones, fullback, single setback now for Jacksonville. He runs and crosses the 25 up to the 28. Hey, baby. Third down and 3 at the 27. Jennings in They hand it to him, and he won't get it. Only a 1-yard gain. They tried to catch the Titans flat-footed, and don't fool anybody.
It was well played up front. The defensive line and linebackers, they got a hard slant to the defensive left going on, and Vanden Bosch slants right into the option play by Garrard.
Case Vaharn standing at the 27. Podlish at his own 15. Wobbly kick, short kick. Case Vaharn. Will he field it? Yes. At the 30. And goes forward, gets to the 34. 42-yard punt. LP Field, a jewel in the night as dusk falls on Nashville, Tennessee. 20-13 our score. Titans with the lead. They throw it out. Johnson with the block. Spinning. And Johnson goes down at the 44. A 9-yard gain. Darrell Smith and Alexander with the tackle.
Yeah, Nate Washington got a great block. Watch as Chris Johnson comes out. It's illegal for Nate Washington to hit up high. Watch how he gets across the body and leads with his shoulder. That's the new rule in the NFL. Nate Washington doing it exactly like the NFL wants him to and springing his guy for the catch. Watch as he comes up, lines it up, and crosses and hits him soft with his shoulder.
2nd down and 1 at the 43. Johnson straight ahead, now pops it outside, stutter step, gets it inside, and goes down at the 49-yard line of Jacksonville after a gain of 7. Looking for their first win of the season, 0-6. They fake. Young looking over the middle, wide open, throws a strike again. At the 35-yard line, Gage, a gain of 15.
And the reason Vince Young is playing so well today, he's got so much time in the pocket. Gage comes back, Vince Young throws the dart out there. Vince Young had nobody within a couple of yards of him. Very simple to stand back there, look over the field. He's taller than anybody in the front 7 of the defense and his offensive line, so he sees over the top very well and has plenty of time to pick his spot.
6 feet 5 inches, 233. First down and 10 at the 35. Out of the offset eye, Lindale White in the game. They give it to him. White looking, White spinning, White trying to get the extra yards, and he goes down at the 25, a 9-yard pickup. Ellison, Stanley combining on the tackle.
And watch the blocking up front. Lindale White comes up. Everybody's got a hat on a hat. There's nobody for Lindale White to even think about. Then he throws the outside move, steps inside 1, and gets out, ends up with a 9-yard gain on a well-blocked play up front. You can't block a run play off tackle better than the Tennessee Titans just did.
Offensive line firing off the football. 2nd down and 1 at the 26. Right again on 2nd and 1. May not get it this time. Ellison at the bottom of the pile, coming up and making the tackle.
You know, and I think when you get into a situation like this, Gus, and it's a 3rd and 2, Vince Young's exactly the kind of quarterback you want to have in the game, because a lot of times when the quarterback's in there, if he's a stand-up, upright passer, you're not worried about him falling forward and getting the first down. Vince Young, that's exactly what you worry about. You can cover up everybody and still lose the play.
They've rolled him out in situations like this in the past. 3rd down 1 at the 26. And he rolls out again, lets it go, and throws it low.
That's his first bad pass of the day, and he's upset about it. Just a low throw. Has to get it over the top and just can't get it there. You know, it's Quentin Groves coming in, gets his hands up, and he throws it. And when you try and get it over the top, sometimes you try and drop it in over, and you do a little bit too good a job of it.
So Barones comes in to attempt a 45-yarder. He's been perfect today, good from 48 and 25. As a new holder in Brett Kern. Gets it down, up, and good. A little right to left break on that ball.
Has a nice kick.
Welcome back. 23-13, Tennessee in Jacksonville. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker with you. Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of electricity in the building for this one. Corona sends it away. Mike Thomas brings it out of the end zone. And Thomas, another great return. He's had two 40-yard returns. This one a 27-yard return. These clubs have met at least twice each year since Jacksonville began play as an expansion team in '95. And we've seen some really great games between them. Play fake, Garrard in trouble, and he's sacked. Somebody got around the edge quickly. Jacob Ford. Third sack of the day for the Titans.
And Garrard's going to go back, and before he can step forward, Ford just gets in and gets a grip on his sleeve, and he can't shrug the tackle off. That's a great hard speed rush right off the edge. Right there, they're last in the league. They got it going on today.
Ford in his third year out of Central Arkansas. A loss of 6. Second and 16. Garrard sets up a screen. And nothing doing. David Thornton hops on and takes a ride. And brings him down. That's a loss of 4 for Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, and this is what you do when they're getting good pressure up inside here. The thing you want to do is let them come and then just dump it off to your back. But the problem is, if they stay disciplined, they see it coming. What a great job by Dave Ball. He sees it, does a baseball move, and turns and runs and gets the angle.
And look at this crowd. Look at this crowd. They're on their feet. They're smelling their first victory of the year. Third down at 20 at the 16. Garrard looking over the middle. Caught! And that's Jarrett Gilliard, a rookie out of Rice. And he quiets the crowd. A gain of 23.
Well, one of the things that has helped Jacksonville this year as opposed to last year, they've got 3 brand new wide receivers, and they're all playing extremely well. You saw the catch there from Dillard. He's really the 3rd or 4th guy. But this new revamped receiver core has made a huge difference for David Garrard.
First down, handoff, Maurice Jones-Drew. And when you talk about the receivers, take a look. Sims, Walker, Holt, Thomas, now Dillard.
Yeah, that's coming into this game, so those numbers will be updated after today. But, you know, 3 guys that they had on this squad a year ago are no longer here. And the change was huge, but it's also been great. Addition by subtraction is one of the most difficult math problems there is.
Second down and 7 at the 42. Garrard again. Wide open is his tight end, Mercedes Lewis. And Mercedes. Fumble! But I believe Jacksonville fell on it, and they did. A 20-yard run for Mercedes Lewis.
And you see how tall he is running through the secondary. He stands head and shoulders above the defenders, and then he turns it upfield. And this is the kind of play that really helps an offense. Kind of goes unnoticed. It's one of those short plays with a long run that kind of gets mushed into the statistics. And it comes out, no question. It was out. It was a fumble, and right there to fall on it is Jacksonville.
First down and 10 at the 38. Sims, Walker in motion. Garrard, pump fake, double move. He's got him open, but he couldn't get it off in time. Ernest Wilford with a double move up the right sideline, and he was wide open. But the pass rush would not allow Garrard to throw it.
Yeah, you come up, watch the pump fake. When he pump fakes it, then he's got to get out of the way. If he could have let it go, he had a chance for the completion, but he just didn't have the time for a play like that to develop. You need some protection on a big pump fake double move, and Garrard just didn't have it.
Second down and 10 at the 38. Garrard out of the shotgun now. Mike Thomas in motion. Here they come. Garrard bouncing, looking, helmets flying. Garrard reverses. Garrard throws. Incomplete.
Well, that's Jones-Drew without his helmet.
Jason Jones chasing him. Maurice Jones-Drew losing his hat.
Yeah, he's talking to the official right there because he said, you know, somebody got their hand up in my face, just took my helmet off. You see there. And that's Finnegan who just tore his helmet off. And I'll tell you what, Gus, you feel completely wrong without a helmet on a
out there.
I'm telling you what, you want to play ostrich and stick your head in the sand.
There's an injured player, an injured Titan. Maybe Griffin. Michael Griffin went to the Pro Bowl last year, had 7 interceptions. Just a tremendous year, but if you read the local papers today, he talked about getting back to where he used to be. He's been having some personal issues that he's been dealing with off the field, which has forced him not to be able to concentrate. But he wants to get back to playing the way he used to play, and he felt today would be a perfect opportunity.
This is a guy who's had some success in this league last year in the Pro Bowl, as you mentioned, and then he lines up this year. He goes up to New England. He's got 2 rookies lined up beside him in Ryan Mouton and Jason McCourty, and Tom Brady hangs 6 touchdown passes on him. It's time to reset and try and get back his mojo, and today they're trying to do it.
Third down and 10 at the 38. Here come the Titans. They blitz. Garrard lets it go. Incomplete. They brought everybody, and Garrard is down. He's getting up slowly. Stephen Tulloch delivered a blow.
Well, you said it, Gus. They brought the kitchen sink on Garrard that time, and they got there. Right up the middle, he comes in. Nobody picks him up, and he hits it right in the middle of David Garrard's chest. And don't try that at home.
Hit his head hard.
And that's what does it. If your head goes down, you hit the back of your head, that's when concussions happen. Take it from a guy who knows. And that's the dangerous part of getting hit from the front, is getting your head banged on the ground from behind.
Adam Podlish punting from midfield. Kevin Casefaharn inside his own 10. End over end kick. And Casefaharn will field it at the 9. A flag on the play. 28-yard punt.
This is going to be a hold.
During the kick, holding. Number 31 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's Cortland Finnegan.
If you can just make it consistent, that'd be a lot better.
But he is as tough a guy as you will see, David Garrard. All right, JB, second down and 10 at the 5-yard line. For Tennessee's Vince Young. He hands it off to Chris Johnson. Johnson getting through the hole and goes down. A gain of 6. Should take us to the end of the quarter. 23-13 is our score. We'll return to Nashville after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back as we take a look at the scoring by quarters. Tennessee with 10 in the second and 10 in the third. 23-13 our score. Third down and 4 for Vince Young at the 11. They're 2 of 9 on conversions. Here's the handoff to Chris Johnson. Johnson hurdling. Watch out! Johnson again puts it back. Touchdown, Tennessee! Woo! 89 yards.
Both running backs having enormous days. Maurice Jones-Drew and now Chris Johnson. Watch yet another missed tackle for Jacksonville right there. He just steps out of the tackle of Brian Russell and it's off to the races. And when you get out there, Gus, there's just too much space and too little ground to work with for the defenders to get a piece of him.
And Chris Johnson is tired. He should be. He's run for 220 yards on 20 carries, which is a club record, 2 touchdowns. Remember in the old days, they used to have oxygen for him. Where's the oxygen?
Yeah, he didn't make it to the bench. I mean, you'll watch this right out, and you see there 1, 2 missed tackles, and then it's a foot race.
From the blimp.
From the blimp. And you see there's just so much space. He's so fast, can change direction. It's just no way to get him. And actually, he got physically sick in the back of the end zone there after that run. And that'll tell you how hard he's been working.
What do you think, Steve?
Well,
is he suffering from a cramp?
Yeah, well, I think he's dehydrated. He's probably lightheaded. He might be hyperventilating as well. There's just it could be any number of things. But after a run like that, particularly, I mean, that's his 20th rush of the day. And you get 20 rushes, and you've had a couple of really long ones.
220 yards.
And you get out, and I'll tell you what, Gus, 220 yards on 30 carries or 35 carries is a lot different than 20 carries. You got a lot of long runs in there, and those really take their toll.
And the fans showing their appreciation for the second-year back out of East Carolina. He keeps the football.
He kept his football, but he lost his lunch.
That's okay. And we are watching 2 excellent young running backs perform on the big stage this evening. Titans take a 29-13 lead. Baronis in to attempt the extra point, and it's good. These 2 world-class athletes have put on a show. They've combined for only 27 carries, but 399 yards and 4 touchdowns. They're averaging 14.7 yards per carry today.
That's it's so exciting to watch, and they're not doing. I mean, it hasn't been, you know, that they haven't done it on their own. I mean, they're running so long, they're breaking such long runs. They're breaking, both of them are breaking tackles, doing it as well.
They're an EA Sports video game. The way they get up and down the field.
Man, I wish I had those 2 on my fantasy team today.
How about that?
Oh.
Titans kicking. Mike Thomas fields it, brings it out of his own end zone. Thomas to the sideline. And Thomas goes down. 21-yard return.
Disrespecting other people's fans and what they do. Man, it's been the last time they won. I don't think it's by coincidence.
First down at 10 of the 19. Broken play. Garrard makes chicken salad. Garrard gets to the 35. Keith Bullock brings him down, but it's a 13-yard gain.
Yeah, and that was a completely busted play in the backfield. Garrard's going to turn around, try and give it. He turns the wrong way. Garrard turns to his left to give it to Maurice Jones-Drew, and Maurice Jones-Drew and the offensive line are going to the right.
First down and 10 at the 31. Garrard throws over the middle, and a great catch by the rookie Mike Thomas. He caught that one in traffic, and it's a gain of 25.
I'll tell you what, that was a great throw by Garrard, too, and this is the kind of play that you didn't see out of Jacksonville a year ago.
Cortland Finnegan with the tackle, and all of a sudden, the Jags are inside Tennessee territory. They're going with the hurry-up offense at the 44. Maurice Jones-Drew, and he's dragged down. Nice contact being made by Vincent Fuller. Fuller coming back. He's normally a nickel defender, but he broke his arm and missed a few weeks. Actually, he was out as well with Cortland Finnegan since September 27th against the Jets. Loss of 2. second down and 12. At the 46. Garrard throwing off his back foot. Thomas protects the football and gets to the 25. And they really love this kid as he gains 22. David Thornton with the tackle because they say he's a running back after he catches the ball.
Yeah, he's built thick and he's got great instincts when he's in the open field. And you look at the way this drive is going, Gus. They only had 5 completions all of last year that were more than 25 yards. They've already got 15 coming into the day this year. A huge difference offensively.
First down at 10 to the 25. Play action. Garrard looking. Garrard up top. And it's quick. Finnegan. Watch out. Finnegan out of bounds at the 40.
This one got away from Garrard. It went over the top of the receiver.
Welcome back to the Music City, where the Titans lead the Jaguars 30-13. Vince Young, starting for the first time this year, has done a terrific job guiding his team on first down at the 38, Lindale White. But the defense making plays now, Cortland Finnegan.
And you see this is Mike Thomas coming up deep in, tries to get it underneath to Sims Walker, and he goes between the two receivers, and this is just a bad throw. I mean, that's the first bad throw I've seen David Garrard make today, and it cost him an interception and the ball going the other way.
So Sims Walker was wide open. Second down and 11 at the 37. Lindale White. And Lindale White maybe a yard. Stanley with the tackle. Different looking Tennessee Titans team. They look more like a 13-3 team today.
Yeah, this is the team they thought was going to show up. Well, actually, it is the team that showed up the first 3 weeks of the season. They played very hard competitive games against Pittsburgh. They lost a couple of close ones early on, and then, you know, it kind of started to go sideways on them. They looked good against Pittsburgh, against Houston, and against the Jets, and then it started to turn south on them against Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and New England.
Third down and 9 at the 39. Chris Johnson. And he will not pick up the first down, gets to the 42.
You almost get the feeling on that carry, Guts. Chris Johnson didn't want to break one for a touchdown. He's just beat.
He's tired.
I mean, he has had it. I was surprised that he actually got back in the game on that. Lindale White took the first couple of carries, and Chris Johnson's had enough running today. It was like an off-season training session for him.
21 carries, 233 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Chris Johnson. Now back deep, Mike Thomas. He's done a really nice job returning kicks. Ready to return a punt now. Beautiful punt by Kern. Johnson allows it to go over his head, and it bounces back. Wonderful job. Welcome back. First down and 10 at the 8-yard line for Jacksonville. Jennings in the game at tailback. Garrard throwing, looks backside, decides to run it, and Garrard picks up good yardage on the scramble. 7.
And you talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars being backed up. This is the punting problems. Now, Brett Kern was signed just this week from Denver. He averaged 46.1 at Denver. And last year, all through the year, he was 5th overall with a 46.7 average. But he replaces Reggie Hodges, who was listed 34th out of 32 teams in punt average this year. So, you know, the Tennessee Titans happy to have a guy in there that's going to give it a long ride. And who cares if he outkicks his coverage once in a while? They needed somebody to give them some field position like they just did on this last punt.
And Jeff Fisher told us in our meetings that field position would be a key in this game. They wanted to make Jacksonville play with the long field as often as possible. Handoff, and it's Jennings, and he gets decked.
And
second down and 8 at the 24. Time starting to work against the Jags. Play fake. Garrard dumps it off to Jennings, and he's chopped down at the 25. Nice tackle on the play made by Vincent Fuller. And it's a gain of only 1 yard.
Well, when they're trailing by 17 points with 8.5 minutes to go, sooner or later, David Garrard is going to have to go down the field. Being in a hurry-up offense is one thing, but you're going to have to start getting chunks of yardage.
Second down. Make that 3rd down and 7 at the 25. Garrard firing up top. It is incomplete. Intended for Ernest Wilford. Chris Hope was there.
As was Michael Griffin. You see them picking each other up, and Garrard tries to fit this in and almost does, and the defenders, it's so close, the defenders almost start playing the man instead of the ball. Hope lets it go through his hands because the receiver gets in his vision.
Brings on Adam Potlish to punt for the 6th time. Case Vaharn is standing at the 25. Low snap, picked up, wobbly kick. Takes a bounce. Case Vaharn fields it on the bounce and gets to the 30. And welcome back. Titans with the football at the 30. Here's the handoff to Lindale White. And White pounding straight ahead. And when you think about this rivalry, you think about some of the great players that have been on the field representing these teams. Guys like Steve McNair, Eddie George, Derek Mason, Javon Curse for Tennessee. And then when you look at Jacksonville, Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell, Fred Taylor.
Yeah, it is, you know, even though Jacksonville has only been around for 14 or 15 years, great football.
Tom Coughlin, the coach of that Jacksonville team. Steve McNair rushed for 2 touchdowns. Derek Mason returned to kickoff 80 yards. The Titans earned their first Super Bowl berth with that 33-14 win on the road. Lindale White. And he's really starting to put the hammer down now. Justin Durant with the tackle, a gain of 6. You know, talking about Steve McNair, since his passing, it's really affected Vince Young. We spoke to him at the facility on Friday, and he talked about how important it is for him to help Steve's kids, serve as a mentor, as a big brother. He says that he misses his big brother, and somewhere in heaven he's sitting on a dock fishing as he usually did during the offseason. Second down to 3 at the 49. White again. He also went on to tell us, we asked him the question, we said, what jumps out at you? What is the one thing that Steve told you that you will hold on to as you get another opportunity? Because Steve knew that you would get another opportunity. And he told us that the thing that Steve said that I will remember more than anything is to never look back.
Don't look back.
Let the past be the past.
He said that, man. It struck me because it was obvious he had an emotional connection with Steve McNair and now does with his boys, and takes great pride and great responsibility in what the effect he can have on their lives.
Titans running it again. Lindale White breaking a tackle. Very nice job. Tennessee now with the first down and 10 to the 45.
Looked like Brett Favre was limping a little bit after that touchdown pass.
Here's a handoff. Johnson. And another irony, and I'm sure that the fans that aren't familiar with watching Tennessee on a regular basis or reading Nashville sports, Steve McNair's son, Steve McNair Jr., is one of the top high school players in Mississippi. 6'1", 195 pounds, wide receiver for Hattiesburg Oak Grove High School. Joe Biddle with a nice article on him in the Tennessean today.
Well, if Steve McNair Jr. is tough as his father, he's got a shot in whatever he decides to do.
Second down and 6 at the 41. And Johnson running, gets it to the 40.
Number 28, Chris Johnson.
As Knighton makes the tackle.
Tackle number 91.
And this at this point, Gus, in this game, now Tennessee gets to do something they haven't done for a long, long time. Run their 4-minute offense. Just get first downs. You don't care if you score a touchdown or a field goal or anything. Just stay on the field grind out the running game. And this is when this team, and I got to tell you, Gus, this Titan team looks like the 13-3 team we saw a year ago, not like the 0-6 team that has showed up this year.
Third down 5 at the 40. They fake the reverse. Johnson goes nowhere. He's wrapped up. Nice tackle by Knighton again. And that will force the Titans to punt. Tennessee 2 minutes and 58 seconds away from their first win of the season. Jeff Fisher told us that after the 59-0 loss to New England, they were heading into their bye week. He sent all of his guys away and said, get away from it for a little while.
Yeah, and I think it's a smart move. You and I have always had a great deal of respect for Jeff Fisher, as have a lot of guys in the NFL, a lot of teams. But he just told his guys, listen, guys, get away from it. You need to find your happiness and your joy in football once again, because we've been getting beat up. It really helps your passing game. That's
405 combined rushing yards today for Johnson and Jones-Drew, third most since 1950, when Cleveland and Washington combined for 422 yards. I wonder who was on that team in 1950. Maybe Washington, Sammy Baugh. Here's the punt. Kern. And it takes a Tennessee bounce and is downed at the 1. They played a perfect game. Excellent job. Well prepared for the Tennessee Titans. A 39-yard unreturnable punt. And since 1950, an NFL record, 4 rushing touchdowns of 50 or more yards.
Well, you knew, we said it from the top, Gus. Chris Johnson is a home run hitter. When he gets to the edge, he can outrun people. And Maurice Jones-Drew is a franchise back that is a home run hitter and also has a lot of other attributes. His ability to block, his ability to catch the football, the ability to carry an offense, and he did it today. It just wasn't enough.
First down and 10 at the 3. And Garrard hit as he throws. And he is in pain. He's been holding that left wrist since Tulloch hit him earlier in the quarter.
Yeah, and this time it's Jason Jones that gets in on him. And I'll tell you guys, and you get into a game like this, and all of a sudden you get a franchise back who's helped you all game, like Maurice Jones-Drew has helped the Jaguars, and now he's sitting on the bench. He's not even able to come in and help out.
Second down and 10 at the 3. Garrard to the sideline. And Wolford makes the grab, gets out of bounds.
You know, the reason when we said that Jones-Drew can do anything, he can pass protect, they don't want to put Maurice Jones-Drew in the game just to pass protect. They'll let the fullback come in and do that. They're going 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and 1 back, and the back is not going anywhere. He's protecting David Garrard, and that's why Maurice Jones-Drew has got his helmet and his chin strap unfastened on the sideline.
Third down, 5 of the 8. Garrard over the middle. Ball is caught and a first down. And that will be Mike Thomas, a gain of 6. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. David Garrard has been taken out of the game. Luke McCown replaces him. He was traded from Tampa Bay, former 4th-round pick of the Cleveland Browns in 2004. Incomplete on his first pass.
And I think this is just precautionary. David Garrard really is, despite the game today, he's too valuable to risk getting hurt in a situation like this. This is a team that wants to get to the playoffs and still can, but not without him.
McCown scrambling, and he is sacked. Jason Jones, 4th sack of the day for the Titans. They've really broken out and got to the quarterback. At 14 at the 10. McCown scrambling. Throws on the run and almost picked off. Finnegan anticipating. There is a flag, maybe offside against Tennessee.
Yeah, you know, Gus, we started this game and it was all
Offside.
about...
Number 97, defense, 5-yard penalty still, 3rd down.
That's Tony Brown.
And this game was all about Vince Young and his return to the starting lineup. And I guess it's fair to say that if they would have lost, the Tennessee Titans, if they would have lost this game, Vince would have gotten more than his share of the blame. And I think it's only fair that you give him his share of the credit for this win. He played extremely well, very consistent. He did things with his legs. He made good throws. He made a sensational throw on a touchdown pass. And he has really kept control of the football and kept it away from Jacksonville. So as much blame as he might have gotten for a loss, he deserves a good share of the credit for this win.
The count over the middle, incomplete. Keith Bullock breaks it up, but you also have to give a lot of credit to the defense. They're getting healthier. Finnegan back, Fuller back in the secondary. Griffin played a solid game.
That's right, and you're right, Gus. And it's only fitting because, you know, it's easy to focus on that change at quarterback, but this defense got some good guys back in the back end. And Chuck Cecil, the defensive coordinator there in red, is the guy that benefits a lot from having 2 experienced guys back in the lineup in his secondary.
The case for Harn back deep. Podlish to punt once again. And Case for Harn signaling for the fair catch. He has it. And with 1:04 remaining, Vince Young walks back onto the field. Titans franchise, one of the great men of the NFL, made it public that he wanted to give Vince Young another opportunity. They wanted to see if he could play. They wanted to see if he had matured. He has.
15 of 18, 125 yards and a touchdown. And I think the big statistic in that whole scenario is the fact that he didn't throw an interception. Didn't make a big mistake. Only made one real bad throw all day. Got a lucky break on one. Great job by Vince Young.
And that's it. Congratulations to Vince Young as he returns to glory. Tennessee with its first win since week 16 last season. And there's Mr. Adams. He is a happy man today.